Hi Gemini, this is Lee at Fresh Astrology, and if you want a reading with me, you can go to www.freshastrology.com. You can also join us over at Tribe, my other business. It's a support community for women in business, women looking to start a business, especially in midlife to the second half of life. And even a business you're thinking would be carrying you into retirement and even through into old age. There's something called the new retirement, and we are formed as a company to support women through that part of life and around starting business and maintaining their businesses and growing their financial world. So come join us there. You can subscribe on our website and get our weekly blog posts from Mimi, my business partner, one of my business partners, and I do Facebook Live events every weekend in our private group. So join us there if you would like. And let's look at your August. I also did some Facebook Live August readings on my Fresh Astrology Facebook page. If you want to watch those as well, they may have a different slant or slightly different information from what I will provide now. And so if you want a little more, you can go there. But let's get going. So overall, we have these themes over the last few months, including August, where we've got a lot of things retrograde. And this feeling of the retrograde, which can slow things down and make it seem like, where's all the business, or where are all my customers, or why aren't people calling, or why isn't this happening? I thought somebody was going to get back to me. I thought I was going to start this project. Why did I stall out? Why did they stall out? These are the kinds of questions and thoughts that come up during a time like this, and it can feel frustrating. It doesn't mean it's bad, though. I'm talking a lot in these forecasts about what we make things mean. So when things slow down and they're not happening on the schedule we thought, we can start to make it mean all kinds of things that are negative, like, oh, this means I'll never get a job. This means I'll never get asked out. This means, I'll never find a new house or apartment. And we can make things mean whatever we want. So when we make real events and happenings and, like my car broke down, we can make that mean a variety of things. We can make it mean my car needs a new part, or we can make it mean I'm cursed, or we could make it mean this is an opportunity to walk more places. We can make it mean whatever we want, and there's no right or wrong way to do it. But if you want to be miserable, you can make it mean that you're cursed. If you want to walk around feeling cursed, that's a choice. If you want to make it mean your car needs a new part, it seems more pleasant to me to think of it that way. I don't know about you. Or we can make it mean this is a great opportunity to walk for a few days, walk places if you can do that. But I think in the times that are happening now, and especially with challenging events, sometimes a series of eclipses can feel challenging. I think July did feel challenging for a lot of people, but it had good points too. It wasn't all bad, but there were challenges, and when they hit, what do we make it mean? What are we telling ourselves about the challenge? So the implication here is not to put a happy face sticker on every challenge and just pretend like the challenge isn't behind that happy face sticker. It's to, this is a challenge. It doesn't feel fun. I wasn't expecting it. It's hard because, that kind of goes with the idea of challenge. It takes more effort. It may not be what I feel like doing or responding to, but I feel that throughout my life, I've only become who I am, and I like who I am because of challenges. That doesn't mean I want them every day, but it does mean I have a slightly different view, if not a radically different view of challenge at this stage in life. I don't go inviting challenge into my life always, although sometimes I do embrace a challenge I want to take on. People who decide to climb Mount Everest, they're deciding to take on a monumental challenge that's, potentially fatal. There's actually a very high risk involved, and they're choosing that. They're choosing that hardship. People who decide to run a marathon from scratch, having not ever been a runner before, they're choosing to take on some significant challenge and maybe some pain and hardship to train for something like that. And they're choosing it. So challenge is really what we make it mean. And I think that's important to begin to grasp if you're not already entertaining thoughts like this. And again, it's not to say challenges are awesome, challenges are fun. They can be. Some challenges are fun. And some challenges do feel awesome at the end of the day, even though they were hard throughout much of it. They do feel good, and oddly. But not all traumas and challenges are going to feel that way. Trauma specifically as a challenge is going to feel like trauma. And it sucks, it's trauma, but we get to decide at the end of every day what we make, and at the beginning of every day what we make the reality of trauma mean in our lives. So it's just very important to begin to work with that concept seriously and take it seriously, because I do believe, I know it helps me, I know it's helping the people around me to think of it more like this, whatever is happening for them. And I know it would help you to begin to at least play with these ideas. You don't have to buy into anything, but play with the ideas and take them seriously, that that you can make everything mean what you want it to mean. And when you create that sort of meaning, you're infusing your life with that story. So if you're making challenge and trauma mean I'm cursed, everything bad happens to me, you begin to live that story. But if you start to make it mean other more creative, life-enhancing things like, I'm growing as a person through this, I'm, becoming stronger, I like who I am. If you can tell yourself different stories that are, I think just the best way to describe them is they're more life-enhancing. They're not necessarily happy face stickers, because I would never say stuff that happened to me was happy or good. But I would say I've become who I am and I like who I am. And only through the challenge did I do that. So the eclipse, which, we're focused a lot on the eclipses during these months. And the eclipse in August is happening near the middle of the month. It happens in your 3rd house. And this is an area of thought. This is absolutely how you think, how you create thoughts, how you create communicating your thoughts, how you create language. So it governs all kinds of things. It governs talking, phone conversation, face-to-face talking, phone conversations, texting, emails, blog posts, term papers. The suggestion here is that Geminis are doing a lot of writing and communicating. It may have something, a lot of Geminis are in the news business, and a lot of Geminis take on careers where they do have to communicate because it is one of your skills. But with all this retrograde motion and the eclipse happening here, there's something new that wants to occur. And it's happening, and when I use the word conjunction, I don't mean necessarily two planets coming together, but it's happening in conjunction with all these other things. The myriad of retrograde planets, the forward motion of Jupiter and Venus, Mars moving backward from Aquarius into Capricorn to join the energy of Saturn and Pluto. And So I would say for some of you, you're finding a new calling of sorts. Maybe you realize you want to become a writer. Maybe you realize you want to go to school and learn how to write. Maybe you join a program for writing. Maybe you decide to publish something. Maybe you decide to publish something more extensive. Maybe you go from publishing blog posts to publishing a book. Something new is occurring for you here, and you may see a path forward, maybe even in your career, or it could just be a hobby, but something around the middle of August toward the end. So I would say the last half of the month begins something new for you. So for some of you, it's beginning school, literally. For some of you, it's beginning a project. For some of you, a few of you, there may be some kind of move involved, but it would be a distance, possibly, to a different state. So if so, it would be happening over the next, I would say, 6 weeks to 6 months. Venus begins the month in the area of the home and family, and then moves into the area of children, creative projects, fun. Often when planets like Venus, the personal planets, move into places, well, really anywhere, but in the 5th house especially, they tend to represent people. So, women who are fun for you might, trickle in. Some special romantic time or a person could be around. The time when, if you have children, it can show the influence of your child during this time. You may just feel especially connected. Something good could be happening for a child. When I'm quiet, I'm just looking to see what the pattern says anything more to me. Jupiter is really working right now with Neptune and Pluto. It's a very powerful trio here. It has a lot to do with your career and your money. So I definitely get this career vibe. And it wants a plan. It wants a slow evolution. This is not something that necessarily can happen overnight, but there's a lot of luck here. It's a real turning point for you, and it may involve writing, publishing, marketing. Marketing we hadn't quite touched on. It could involve marketing. And if it doesn't involve publishing or marketing, it may involve a school program or something international, possibly. So I guess if I were going to give you some words of guidance, not so much advice, but guidance, I would say that Capricorn is really where you want to stay focused. So regardless of it is important what's happening down in Leo in the 3rd house because it's playing into all of this, but I would say keep your eyes on Capricorn, where that is in your chart, and that is in your 8th house. So you're meant to have and be planning long-term money plans, how to manage your money. I'm sorry about that, I've got my dryer going. So you want to be thinking about money, and maybe your business involves the management of money, or maybe it's just a new focus for Geminis to really take their money situation seriously enough and value themselves enough. Value yourself enough to work on your money issues. Value yourself enough to have a retirement plan building, and some funds building, and a 401k or Roth or something, and take yourself seriously and value yourself enough to invest money for your future. And so there's something, it may not sound super sexy and exciting, but that is something that is implied here. Another way you could read this, if we want to look at more, something a little deeper than that. I mean, money is very important in life. It's a part of our world. It's what keeps, we make, these little pieces of paper and coins mean something, but it's a part of our culture and our world. It's the way things work. So it is actually a deep issue. It's not surfacey, but we can, in the 8th house, go into other meanings. We could be looking at sex, issues around intimacy, building trust, trusting people. We could be looking at fear of death. What does death mean to you? And what wants to happen here is not fearing death, not getting anxious about it, not staying stuck in the shadow of the specter of death. But what wants to happen is, when you consider death, try to think of it as a part of life and an extension of life. And given that we all die, what kind of plans are you making? How are you preparing yourself to live the life you have now? And how are you supporting yourself and honoring yourself, maybe financially, maybe psychologically, maybe through intimacy? Do you have walls that need to come down so that you can develop true intimacy and trust with people, so that while you're alive, you get the joy of being alive and connecting to people? So you can go deeper with this for sure. But the idea is not to stay stuck in the shadow, but to go into the shadow of the 8th house and to decide, given that these shadows exist, what are you going to make it mean? What are you going to do with the fact that shadows exist? How are you going to live with that knowledge that we die and that people die and that scary things are out there and can happen? How do we live with that and find peace and find joy and find connection, between and among people? They're just questions, but these are the kind of questions you're meant to be exploring. So I was going to say, and enjoy. But I mean, these are heavier. Definitely, they're heavier conversations to have with yourself or with friends or loved ones. But this is the core of life. This is what really matters. So spend time with yourself. I don't know what's plaguing you. I don't know what worries you or keeps you up at night. There's a suggestion here that there is worry, and a lot of it may be financial or about death. So just notice where the shadow is and kind of dive into it with some intention. Maybe you need to be with a friend who's safe and is not like an energy vampire. You don't want to be around somebody like that or people like that when you delve into these topics. You want to be with people who inspire you or feel safe if you want to have conversations like this. But these are topics that are meant to be explored. So have fun with it. All right, take care, guys.